All right, so I don't usually like prepare speeches, only if I like really have to. I just go off my heart. So again, my name's Nupol Kiazolu. I'm 17 years old, and I was I was one of the youngest counter protests. Well, left. What did you say? Left protest.
Black liberation.
Yeah. All right, so you get it.
Black liberation.
Yes. Thank you. I really never I knew the KKK existed and all these other hate groups, but I never thought that in 2017, and 17 years old, that I'd be face to face with them. In all honesty, it was really traumatizing. Especially to be a black person in America, to face the KKK is one of our biggest fears. They have a history of violence and terror. And when I first heard about it a week before, I was so confused. At first I thought my friend was joking. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Really? And, she was serious. And I thought about it for 2 days. I meditated, I prayed, and I was like, something inside me said, you have to go. So, fast forward to the day before we left. I called all my family members, all my loved ones, and even Kenneth right here. I texted him, and I told them that I'm going to Charlottesville, and I love you, and I just want to get it all out because the thought of me dying, did cross my mind. I knew what I was going to face, and I told myself, if I die, it's for the greater good. My ancestors died, and who am I not to? So, I was willing to make that personal sacrifice, but luckily I'm here to speak to you guys today. I talked to my mom about it, but I didn't tell her the KKK was going to be there or neo-Nazis or anything. I just told her it was an anti-white supremacy rally because I didn't want to scare her. And either way, I was determined to go either way. So I didn't want to scare her. She was like, she's not here today because she's sick. But she was like, when I came home, she was like, Nupol, you know what people are going to think? You're 17 years old. They're going to think I'm crazy for letting you go out there. I was like, well, I didn't tell, I didn't lie. It was an anti-white supremacy rally. I just didn't tell her everything. So, after that, when we first arrived at our hotel, I was just like, actually the drive there, it was 7 hours, and it wasn't that long, but it's just every minute, I was just thinking about damn, I'm really about to do this, I'm really doing this shit. I couldn't believe it. And when we finally arrived to our hotel, me and my friend Amanda, I don't know if she's here, but she's not here, but she's a part of Black Lives Matter Greater New York as well. We just sat, Julie was with us, we just sat in the room, and I just cried. I cried, and I cried for my people. I cried for, everything. Why are we still here? Why do we still have to do this shit, And I was just there's no turning back now. And, fast forward to, when we got ready, I woke up at 5 in the morning and I sat on the bed, and I was just staring into space, and I was just trying to clear my head to get ready to what was in store, there's no way you could be ready for this shit, because I realized that afterwards. Well, we weren't fully prepared, but we did stand there in solidarity, which was the most important thing. So while we were driving there, and I saw the GPS said 5 minutes away to Charlottesville from Richmond, I just started to tear up uncontrollably, but I had my glasses on so nobody could see. Yeah. And when we stepped out the car, like, my body was just shaking, like, you know, because like he said earlier, you could just feel the tension in the air. It was just like, it was just, you could feel it. And then we stepped out the car, it was like, it's so hot, what is that? And it was like, it's racism. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it was. Like, you could really feel that shit. It hit me in my chest, you know. Sorry. I have a sales mouth sometimes. But when we were walking down, like, you know, the first thing that really shocked me, like he mentioned it earlier, but I was just shocked, like, to see the militia, like the right-wing militia. I thought they were like a part of the police force, and they told me, they was like, no, they're the right wing. I'm like, oh shit, like what the hell? And I knew Virginia was an open carry state, but just to see it in person, like with the AK-47s, M15s draped around them, I think that's what you call it. I don't know about guns too much, but I just know they were huge guns. It was just like absolutely terrifying. And, you know, I looked at them and we made direct eye contact, and I didn't look down. I looked him right in his eyes. And, you know, I went in there, you know, I guess I thought we was in New York because I thought the police officers were going to be heavily involved because, you know, like how the NYPD is up here. You know, I was like completely wrong. Like when we walked in, you know, of course we had the crowd cheering, but, you know, after that, that's when everything started to like settle in. And like when things started flinging like projectiles and things and such, I'm like looking on the side and I'm like, literally looking at the police officers, and they're standing there, and I'm like, what the hell? And like, I'm like, what are you guys doing? I started flipping out at one of the officers. I'm like, do you see what these people are doing? And you're standing there, and he's just looking at me like I'm crazy. I swear to God, they were working together because like, when they started tear gassing us, it was my first time ever being tear gassed. So like my body went into like shock. I couldn't breathe. Like I was just like, I was choking on the gas, and plus I have eczema as well. So it's like the immediate contact. It was just like, you know, but people with like normal skin, it burns. But when you have eczema, it's like on a whole nother level. Like I felt like I was on fire. One of the ladies, it was a woman, and she was a part of this group. I forget the name, but I have it on video. They were specifically there to protect women, black women, women of color, and trans women. And you know, they helped me. They helped me to the medics, and you know, I was bathed in like milk of magnesia, and my eyes were flushed out. You know, I sat there for about a good couple of minutes, and that's when Taryn and Viju came up to me, I believe. One of you guys came up to get me from the block, but somebody did. I don't know, I remember. But, you know, the medics were like, are you sure you're ready to go back out there? And I reassured them I was, even though I wasn't. you know, but I had to go. I couldn't, like, my body was just telling me, and my mind was like, you got to go back out there. You can't stop now. Like, you already deep into this. So I went back out there, and I was standing with Viju, like, you know, and by the way, the Workers' Party, they're like, I'm not a part of the group, but it's not even about that. They're family to me now, because like, I'm trying to keep the tears in, but they did so much to protect me, like, cause you know I was the baby of the group, and like they were constantly around me. Nupol, right here, you know, and they would just like, you know, they put their selves, especially Nate, like, but he made sure I was good, you know, and like they put their selves on the line. I remember at this point where I was standing next to Viju, and one of the neo-Nazis, he looked like he was somebody in a high position of power, but you know, I had my head wrap on, so I stood out in the crowd, like I had a big head wrap on, and he started pointing at me, and I was so terrified. At first, I thought I was tripping, so I you know, waited a couple of, like 2 minutes. I was like, all right. So I looked again. I'm like, all right, he's still pointing at me. So then I alerted Viju and everybody around me, and then that's when they just started surrounding me. And, you know, like, I just felt, you know, I felt like we connected like a family. Like they was really out there to protect me, cause, you know, and protect each other, you know, and it was crazy. Like, and I remember at one point when we were down there and literally they started pointing their guns at us. And I was right in the area, and I saw the gun right towards me. They were pointing right in my face, and the police are literally standing right there watching this, and I'm looking at the police officer because I have fear in my eyes, and they're watching. It's like if he were to shoot me right there, they would have watched it. Like,
no difference from any black women walking around.
Nope. And they were literally working together, because at one point, which is why I strongly believe they were, because when the KKK was throwing the little tear gas and macing us, the police started throwing it as well. It was like teamwork, back to back. So, you know, I just go hand in hand. You know, and there was a point where, you know, when it was just too much, and we had to disperse, because that's when the SWAT team started coming down the hill, and this goddamn racist ass redneck came, trying to attack Taryn and Nate. He was like, do you see the shit that's about to come down the hill right now? And I'm like, we see it, all right, we see it, and it's not gonna affect you because they're not targeting you, you know. And I don't understand his point of being in Taryn's face like he was about to hit her, you know. And so we all had to disperse. And like the Nazis and the KKK, they made it out pretty damn fast. And what was like really surprising to me, I saw some of the members of the ACLU walking up with them. Yeah. I kid you not. Like they had the ACLU t-shirts, and I'm like, but I thought y'all was for everybody. Like, but you're walking up the hill with the KKK. All right. So I was like, I'm gonna have to give them the side eye. Yeah. Okay, so like when it was a good amount of the counter protesters left, or you know, oh hey Hawk, that's the president right there. He was out there too. Love you. I know, but so. We were all, a lot of the revolutionaries, that's why I'm going to refer to them as now. We were out there, and it was a good amount of us left. So that's when the SWAT team and the police started to bombard us. And I immediately got angry. I forgot who I was for a second, because my little self, I was mad. And I was like, you guys literally just watched the KKK assault us, terrorize us, and yet you're treating us like we're the terrorists and we're the criminals? Like, I couldn't believe my eyes, and I cussed them out from head to toe, and they were just still looking at me like I was crazy, and then, you know, Taryn had to pull me away before I got arrested. I was so mad, I wasn't thinking straight because I was so upset. And so after that, that's when we went up the hill that went towards the University of Virginia, right? Yeah, that was UVA. Yeah, it was a university, I know that for sure. And that's when I was like caught up, like and that's when everything started to go crazy, because up there it was no police officers in sight. So brawls started to break out everywhere. And this one little white lady that started it, but she was a revolutionary out there. Oh my God, she went up to this huge, like he was like 6'4", like fat, oh, I'm sorry, but he was big, white supremacist, and she like ripped his flag, and I was like, you are bold, girl, and And like at first she didn't get it, but she tugged a little bit more and she got it out. And then what really shocked me, she started hitting him. And she's like 5'3", like, she's like this to me. And she was fighting. And then like at first, he didn't want to hit her at first, but then they just started fighting. And then that's when everybody jumped in, and that's when like the whole, like, it was just like absolute madness. And that's when I got caught up, you know, and for a brief moment, we were separated. And I was separated from my team. I was freaking terrified. One of the white supremacists, like, he was coming down the hill, he was bloody, and he was really upset, so he was like pushing aggressively every black person in sight, and I just happened to be the person that got punched in the back by him. He assaulted me, and I wasn't expecting, like, I saw him in my peripheral, but it didn't really process, like, it didn't process fast enough, like, to move out the way, you know. And like at that moment, I felt like collapsing. It was like I was stuck in the huge crowd of people, and I didn't see anybody, like any of my comrades. So like I had to run like halfway down the hill, and I fell into this older white guy's arms, and he had Black Lives Matter on his shirt. So, you know, I had to assume he was safe. I didn't really have no option, cause like I was weak. Like, no, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That punch really hurt. I just like fell into his arms, and I started crying, and like he saw from a distance what happened. He was crying, and he just kept repeating, like, I'm so sorry for what happened. I'm so sorry that you guys still have to go through this. And I couldn't really say anything. And he asked me for my name. I told him Nupol. He asked me how old I was, and I was like 17. And he paused for a minute. He was like stunned. He was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I mean, to some people I may look 21, but no, I'm really 17. So he was just stunned. He was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm really 17. And then he just held me again, and I just sat there for like, you know, like a couple more seconds, and then he walked me back up the hill, and I asked this lady to use her phone because I didn't have no signal out there. But like before I could use her phone, that's when Viju came running up to me, and she had like panic in her eyes, but I was so relieved to see her. So that's when we went, you know, up to like a little safe spot. It was safe for a good minute until the Nazis came up. You know, and you know, we were like a block away from where that car plowed through those people, and it was just like horrifying. Like I heard this big old noise, and then somebody said that they was on their phone. One of the members from Durham said that somebody got hit, like people got hit. And at first, like I was like, I didn't believe it. I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, they got hit. And then Taryn and I believe it was Nate, they were down. And everybody, it was Taryn, I know for sure, and somebody else. I don't know if it was Nate, but it was somebody else. Yeah, they were down, and we were like you can see the panic on everybody's face, but we had to like keep a level head. And they were right, because they went to go scavenge to see, like, you know, scout to see where, you know, everybody else was going, and, you know, if it was still continuing, because there was so much chaos in the first part. And luckily, they made it out. Sarah went, you know, they came rolling up in the car. I was so relieved, I wanted to cry. So, you know, just like everything was just so like traumatizing. Like, you know, eventually, like, you know, that white supremacist / terrorist, he left me with like severe contusions in my back. My doctor said if he would have punched me a little lower, he would have damaged my kidneys. Like, you know, my mom, she's pissed the hell off. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, but at the same time, she is proud of me because, you know, I went out there, you know. So, you know. Huh?
Do you have a picture of that guy that punched you?
No, my phone was dead by the time that stuff happened.
But he has footage, right?
I don't know.
Y'all can find him without out of his ass.
Maybe. I know it was a big old white. He was chunky white guy. Huh?
thing is, we're all proud of you too.
Thank you. Thank you. So, eventually the injuries will heal, but the memories are, they will last forever. This is definitely not going to stop me, because a lot of people ask me, oh, after this, will you go to another protest or will you still be an activist? I'm like, you damn right. This is just the beginning, And, I definitely believe in self-defense, and that ideology is unwavering with me. I don't believe in automatic. If violence can be avoided, then okay. But if somebody has a gun in front of your face, are you just supposed to stand there? No. You gonna get your gun, you gonna shoot their ass. How are you talking about? Oh. Because a lot of people like to criticize people, with the ideology of having, self-defense. You can avoid it all with peace, and, yes, peaceful protests are necessary, and I partake in them. I'm definitely all for it, but when it's shit like that, it by any means necessary. We got to protect ourselves. Malcolm X, right there. Yeah. Yep.
Y'all gotta stop that shit.
Pacifism is a privilege for folks of white people who can afford to live a pacifist life. That's not what happened with black and brown and indigenous people in this country. We've been fighting it in different ways and pushing back as necessary. And if that's something that can get through to you, there's a fucking door and get the fuck out or join the outright. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's a knife to a gunfight. Realize fucking gun. No, not you, young lady. For people, like you said, if it's there, do it. But we've been doing this shit for 500 years. If violence worked, it would have worked already.
Yep. So, and while I'm on live stream, one thing I'd like to address, because, I had some hoteps attacking me on Instagram.
Yeah. The Instagram is real.
Black Lives Matter Greater New York is a grassroots organization. I don't know how many fucking times I have to say this. We are not funded by white supremacists. We are not funded by George Soros. Other chapters maybe. I'm not confirming that. I'm not denying it. I do not know. Okay, these are conspiracies, and I don't know. But what I do know is Black Lives Matter Greater New York, we are completely, 100% entirely grassroots. So y'all gonna stop? Where's the live stream at? Right here. Y'all gonna stop coming for me on Instagram, and this is about the last time I'm saying, I'm not explaining myself to y'all no more. I'm not explaining myself to y'all no damn more. Because, it's a little off topic, but, and a lot of these people, that are attacking me, and they're like, oh, I would have did this, and, they have all this. I was like, okay, but were you there?
Were you there?
Okay. They always have something negative to say, but were you there? Like, oh, I would have did this if I was in Charlottesville, all this other stuff. I'm like, but you weren't there, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't apply.
Stop typing and start marching.
Exactly. Because these be the same folks that sit on Instagram and post memes calling themselves an activist. Try again, sis. But anyways, back on topic. I just had to get that out. But overall, and I just like to put out there, yes, the blood of Heather Heyer is on those, terrorists, but it's also on the blood of the Virginia Police Department and everything that was out there. Yes, it is, because we were there the whole time. We witnessed everything, how they did not protect us. They left us vulnerable. We had to make barricades out of trash cans and fucking tables. Trash cans and tables, like, that's not gonna do anything. They're gonna go right through that shit. So it's like, they allowed that to happen. They did, and I don't care. And Donald Trump has the freaking nerve to salute the police department and shit, like they actually did something? Like, are you serious? Like, it's a slap in the face to Heather Heyer's family and to everybody that was, all the revolutionaries that were out there putting their lives on the line. It's just really ridiculous. And, I'm keeping a buck with y'all. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. My views on racism in America, definitely have worsened. I really don't want to hear how far we have progressed when, you just had the KKK and every other white supremacist group in America rally out with impunity. Amen. Yeah. So, I really, after this, I told my peoples, I was like, I swear, if one more person tells me about how far we came in race in America, I'm gonna snap. Because, no, I really don't want to hear that. I just want to close off with that, and rest in peace, Heather Heyer. We were what's really killing me right now is because, and I'm trying not to cry, because I saw Heather Heyer there before. I was in a line of people. I don't know if, I remember one of the members came and they took me because we was getting ready to leave, but we were all locking arms at one point, and we were slowly walking up, and because the KKK and all the Nazis were coming up, so we locked arms in solidarity. And Heather Heyer was in that line. If I'm not mistaken, I know my eyes was not deceiving me, and I know for a fact that some of the people that I ran over were definitely in that line. And one of the men had cornrows, and he was the man earlier that was encouraging all the revolutionaries out there to stay strong when the terrorists were throwing bricks and rocks and everything you could think of at us. So when I saw everything, I was like, damn, like you literally just saw those people, and Heather is gone, and the rest of them are really injured. So it's but this is, I know what I signed up for, yeah. So a lot of people ask me, oh, are you worried about getting hurt and all this other stuff? I'm like, it crosses my mind, but that's not my top priority. My main priority is Black liberation. So, I am 100% for Black people. It's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I'm blackity black. So, because people always ask me, oh, why are you always talking about Black people? You always posting about Black stuff. I'm like, well, I'm Black. Come on. So, but yeah, to close off, I like to thank, my family for, protecting me, putting their lives on the line. I like to thank everybody that came out to Charlottesville. I like to thank the people that stood in solidarity with us, even though they weren't in Charlottesville. My condolences to Heather's family, and my condolences to everybody that was ran over by that car. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but we out here, we still gonna fight for you and everybody else. And I like to end it off I everywhere, I feel like I'm gonna get famous for this, because everywhere I go I say the Assata Shakur chant. Yeah. So, if everybody can hold hands and stand up.
Okay, doesn't have to be a circle.
All right.
Do it, sis.
All right. So we're gonna say it 3 times, and y'all know how to do it. All right.
Lead us.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect each other.
We must love and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect each other.
We must love and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Hands up. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect each other.
We must love and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 Ashe. Thank you.